Welcome everybody to another awesome episode of Wine, Hops, and Road Stops on location here at the Beer Stop. My co-host Alan. Alan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Lots of beers to try, so it's always a good time.
Yeah, what do we got going on today?
Well, we're going to do something a little bit different today. We've been going through different styles and things, but today we're going to kind of go through what is the difference between a good beer stop and a great beer stop. And we're going to show you beers that kind of make the difference between the beer store you should be at versus maybe the beer store you are at.
So we're going to look at rare and limited beers and stuff that only you got.
Correct, yeah, this is stuff that you go into 100 different stores in Pennsylvania, I'll probably be the only one with them.
Before we go any further, let's check out some beer news. Scientists have brewed a hoppy tasting beer without the hops. Lots of craft beer enthusiasts have a thing for hops, like me, but hop flowers are expensive, so to get around this, scientists have figured out a way to brew hoppy beer without the hop plants. So they took brewer's yeast, added a hoppy stretch of DNA. Once the beer was brewed, these crazy scientists conducted a blind taste test, and the new beer got hoppier ratings than a non-hopped American ale.
I tend to kind of want to know what's in things that I drink. I mean, this is, I guess, the opposite of organic.
Did they have nothing else to do?
Scientists are working hard on this, and God knows what else.
Next up, glitter beer is apparently a thing now. Breweries across the country are now adding edible, or should I say drinkable, glitter to their beer. This trend comes not too long after glitter cappuccinos made their rounds on social media. Breweries and brew pubs in several states have now started serving glitter beers.
I think we're going to be safe in the Hazleton area that glitter beers won't be coming here.
You don't think so?
No, that's kind of like a little hipster thing with guys with the hats on sideways.
All right, okay. I don't know if I want to drink glitter beer.
Yeah.
What does it do?
If it's non-alcoholic, maybe my 10-year-old would like it.
Yeah, maybe my 11-year-old would like it. But she's not allowed to drink until she's at least 21.
Well, that's why if it's non-alcoholic.
And they're not dating until they're at least 30. Well, we're going to take a very short break here on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. Don't go away. We'll be back with some taste testing of some beers that can probably only get right here. Some rare, some limited beers, and some really good stuff. Welcome back to Wine, Hops, and Road Stops right here on WYLN TV 35. On location once again at the Beer Stop, my co-host, Alan Giannetti. Alan, we're going to talk about other styles we haven't really talked that much about in this series yet. Like, we've been talking a lot about IPAs and stouts, and a lot of people that are watching are probably thinking, is that the only beers in existence? No, it's the only beers I like. But,
yeah, there's hundreds of different styles out there. I mean, we hit the main ones, the most popular ones. IPAs, your favorite, is probably the most popular style for the microbrew world right now.
Stouts his favorite.
Stouts are my favorite, so obviously, you know, we drank most of those.
So let's take a look at some not so obvious styles that that are actually pretty popular nowadays, you know, in the craft beer world.
Okay.
First up, we have the barley wine. Although wine is in the name, it's very much a beer. Usually a very strong beer. The style is usually fruity and sweet. It can be bitter. English varieties are usually more malty than the American versions, and most barley wines can be cellared for years. They age well. The ABV is usually between about 8 and 15%.
Yeah, they'll even get up into the 20s for some of the you know, specialty ones. You know, however, as again, there is no wine in it. It's made exactly like a beer. They just put more stuff into the mash. A good example for a barley wine would be a Weyerbacher. They have a nice barley wine out there. The Old Guardian from Stone is another really good one. And you can't age these because they are a higher alcohol. I mean, probably 10, 15 years you could probably age some of these. So, you know, take them, throw them in your basement, and they'll continually change every year slightly with, you know, the flavor of them.
Next up is the fruit lambic. The use of fruits or fruit syrups are traditionally added after fermentation has started. Cherries, raspberries are common, all producing subtle to intense fruit characteristics. Once the fruit is added, the beer is matured before bottled. Malt and hop characteristics are generally low, so there's a big fruit taste to these beers. ABV is usually on the lower side, but it can also go up to about 8%.
Yeah, most of the ones that you're going to get over here are usually going to be the Belgian lambics from Lambic. They have strawberry, raspberry, which is their #1 seller, peach, sour apple, currant. I mean, it goes on and on.
So if you like fruit, this is your beer.
It's great. My wife loves these. It's kind of almost throw them in a Cosmo glass, and you kind of, you know, have a little fun with it, and, you know, it looks a little different. Tastes nothing like beer, though, quite frankly. It tastes absolutely nothing like beer. It's more kind of a slightly alcoholic fruit juice.
Next up is a Bock. In medieval times, German monks would brew a strong beer like this for sustenance during their Lenten fasts. It's a bottom fermenting lager that generally takes a few months of lagering. That means cold storage. I mean, you know that, they don't. Lagering means cold storage. You keep it cold. Bock beers in general are stronger than your typical lager, with way more malt character, and they're mostly only lightly hopped. There's not a lot of hop taste to a Bock beer.
Back in the medieval times, they would take their beers, which you would brew in the summertime, but you can't grow in the winter, so they would put them in kegs and put them into caves, where it would be kept cold, and that way they can keep the beer all year long. And that's where the Bock came from. And the original guys in Germany were actually the Einbock, which means billy goat. And to this day, they actually still use the billy goat on the Eyinger Bock, which is one of the best double Bocks out there. And you'll even get a little thing, a little plastic billy goat on the bottle as well.
And finally, the wit beer. Wit beer is a pale and cloudy beer. The cloudiness is due to it being unfiltered and a high level of wheat or oats that are used in the mash. Always spiced, usually with coriander, orange peel, or something like that. Sometimes served with a lemon or orange. Often referred to as a white beer. ABV is usually 4 to 7%. Good example of one of these beers.
Everybody knows the Blue Moon and the Shock Top. I mean, that's whether it's a white, a wheat, a wit, it's all pretty much, the same thing. One of my favorite ones is the UFO White. We've done that on a sampling.
Yeah, that is a really good beer. Yeah, excellent beer.
The wheat beers are just got done mowing the lawn and I want a beer. They go down real smooth, real fast. And it's a great way also, if you're not into the craft brewer world, that's the first beer you want to kind of get into, because it's going to be a little bit richer, a little bit fuller, a little bit creamier than your Bud Miller Coors.
My wife loves wheat beers.
Yes, yeah. I love them in the summertime. All summer long I'll drink wheat beers. It's a good season for them.
Now let's move on to some taste testing. Right here in front of us we have a bunch of beers that are either limited release or hard to find, or stuff that you just have here.
We have a couple of different styles. IPAs are always the #1 seller, so we got about 3 of those. We also have a Saison, which I'm not sure if we've tried any before. Then we're also going to have a Berliner Weiss, which is a dessert beer. Then we have a Gose. Gose or sour beers are very popular now. They're getting a lot of play. They're a lot of times made like a combination of beer and wine, where you're going to have a lot of fruits in them, but they will keep the fruits in the mash until the mash sours.
I know someone who would like that. A friend of mine, Jeff Tomasacci, loves sour beers.
Okay, yep.
I don't really,
Yeah.
But I haven't tried enough, so maybe this one will be like my entryway into that.
Honestly, if you try a sour beer and you hate it, marinate a steak in it.
Ooh.
It comes out really nice, and so if you try it, at least you don't have to throw it away. Marinate your steak overnight in it, because there's just tons of stuff in it, and it works out really nice.
Now we're talking.
Yep. And then our last one, we're going to go with the king of the season, the Founders Canadian Breakfast Stout.
That one looks nice.
That's a stout aged in maple bourbon barrels.
Well, let's kick it off.
All right. We'll start off with the, this is the Lomland. This is their Saison. Alcohol's low, probably in that 4 to 5% range. It's a nice springtime beer on like a couple of warm days.
Yeah.
You get to kind of sit outside, have a nice beer and relax. Saisons are great for that.
So we'll consider this a European style beer, this Saison.
Yes.
Because it has a certain finish to it that reminds me of
the German style lagers.
Yes.
And
the German style.
Yeah. Well, again, it's more than a lager, but yet it's less than a pale ale. So you're kind of in that arena where you're getting a little bit more in your beer, but not so many hops to make it into a pale ale or IPA, and it just fits nicely in that niche there.
Great.
Another good entry-level beer, because you're not going to get overwhelmed with a tremendous amount of hops.
Okay, we're going to move on to, I'm going to say, Alan brought this to me because he knows I like IPA.
Yes. This is a phenomenal IPA. If you haven't had this IPA, and we are literally the only ones with it, Lawson's Little Sip of Sunshine. It's just a great, just the nose on it is just, it completely is floral and hops and citrus.
Yeah, I'm already past smelling it. I already drank half of it.
Yeah,
this is excellent.
That is such a great IPA. Comes in around 8.5% alcohol. Unfortunately for me, it only comes in 16-ounce cans. I don't know why. The West Coast thing, everything comes in cans anymore, and you're going to start seeing less and less in bottles. That's why most of these oddball beers and rare beers are in cans.
That's fantastic. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be sipping it. That was too good.
Next is a Newburgh GigaBoss Double IPA. It seems like a different style of hop in it.
Yeah, there's definitely a different style of hop.
The Sunshine for the summertime is really getting into the, citrusy of the hops. You know, this is more kind of, you know, just hits you hard with the hops.
So that's GigaBoss IPA.
Yep.
Good IPA.
Yeah, very nice.
A little bit lighter, actually, but it seemed like there was a little bit more alcohol to it.
Not worthy of finishing, I guess, for now.
For now.
The next one is the Thirsty Miner. I got this one, basically, it's from Wisconsin, just because it said miner on it. We're a mining town. This is a double IPA coming in at around 8.5% alcohol.
This one's dangerous because it doesn't taste like that. I usually think like a double IPA will taste a little bit maltier.
Right.
Then this is
more almost like straight hops, and they just kind of put more and more hops in the mash. It's nice. All right, the next one is from a company out of Virginia called Grimm. All right, this is the Berliner Weiss. So this
I have no idea what that means.
It's going to be completely different than almost, you know, any other kind of beer that you're used to. It's much lighter. The alcohol is lower, probably around 4.5 to 5% only. And you can smell it's like, yeah, as I said, it's usually a fresh yeast, fresh hop.
Yeah. There's a good smell to it.
But it is very light, little tart. And again, they bill it always as a dessert beer.
A little tart.
Yep.
It's a little bit more than a little tart.
Yeah. Well, you think that's tart, wait till we get to the Gose. Again, it's just another style. If you're not a big hop head, this is something that you might want to go down the road for because you are not going to get that big bitterness. It's a completely different flavor. You would almost think this is a mixed drink if you didn't know it was beer.
Oh, yeah, yeah. This does not really taste like most of the beers that we've been trying.
No, no, no.
Okay, next up, what do we have?
Okay. We have the Collective Projects Gose. And again, the Gose is going to be all types of fruit, all types of berries. Made a little similar to a wine, but again, they let the fruit and the berries sour before they actually put it in the mash.
Whoa, that's a sour beer.
Yes.
Yeah, that's sour beer.
Yep, and again, a lot of them you can almost, there's a little vinegary flavor to this one as well.
Yes.
It's not my cup of tea at all, but I will say we sell a whole bunch of sours. There's guys out there that are just sour guys.
Oh, yeah,
and you can
absolutely.
tell because it's such a unique flavor. If you love this, all you're going to be doing is looking for sours.
Now, I've tried some sours before. Like I said before, a friend of mine loves them. Mm-hmm. So he lets me try them, you know, when he gets some.
Yeah.
If you like sour beers, you're going to like this one.
This is a true sour.
Yeah. Oh.
A lot of them in the American market now, they're coming out with like a blood orange sour, where they're trying to get more of the fruity tones than the sour tones, which is not the original Belgian style sour. This is definitely a Belgian style sour.
So this is made as a sour should be made.
Yes, yes, that's a great example of what a sour should be. Take a couple of sips, you like it, and then marinate your steak with it. And finally, their little angels should be singing over our heads. It is a imperial stout with chocolate and coffee, aged in maple syrup bourbon barrels. Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
that's it.
Yeah.
We're just going to say wow for the next probably minute and a half.
You're expecting such a sweetness from like maple syrup in there, but with all the hops and the stout and the coffee and the bourbon, wow, just really marries together nicely.
Probably supposed to sip it, but that was fantastic.
That is really good, really good. And again, this one probably you don't want to have right out of your fridge. Put it on the side, have it around like 55 degrees, around that temperature, 50 degrees, and you're going to get a lot more of, you know, different flavors and different. Pour a nice little cognac glass. Your hand can keep the beer a little bit warm. You don't want it too cold.
Right, so you should actually hold it like this.
Yes.
Or by the stem.
Yeah. It's, like I said, it's all these barrel-aged beers. They're almost like cognacs in a sense. And, you know, the more kind of 55, 50 degrees, it just, you know, makes it a really different flavor. But that is so nice.
So what you're saying is keep it a little bit warmer.
Yep.
And I'm going to assume that bottle of beer will age very well.
This bottle of beer will age excellent, yes.
Fantastic selection of beers here at the beer stop. All excellent. When we come back, we're going to take a little road stop, and I'm going to try some Indian food for the first time. Don't go away. There's more coming up at Wine, Hops, and Road Stops after these messages. We'll be right back. Today's road stop is Let's Eat Flavors of India in Wilkes-Barre. A visit to this cozy little restaurant will be my first experience with Indian food. So I sat down with owner and operator Kavita Syed to educate me about this cuisine.
Most people actually have a misconception that Indian food is spicy. Spicy in India is flavors put together from spices like cumin, ginger garlic, cardamom, clove. That's what spices up. And if you like it like hot spicy, then we have the Indian chili, which we could add to the meal. My first timers, I have to like convince them that, you know, it's not spicy. I relate it to American food, like the chicken tikka masala is like a creamy sauce made with onion, tomato, yogurt. I say it's something like an Alfredo sauce. So they're like, oh, let's try it. So that's how, you know, we try to make first timers try our food, and they enjoy it, they like it, and it's just the first time you got to try it and then you're in love with it. We have a variety of vegetarian, chicken, lamb, seafood. We have gluten-free and vegan menu.
The name Let's Eat, while being simple and catchy, also has a story behind it. It seems Kavita borrowed it from someone very special.
The name comes from my daughter named the restaurant. She was in 2nd grade. She was, I think, 7 years old then. They had a project in school saying, oh, you know, what would you do what do you want to become when you grow big? And some said doctor, nurse, banker. My daughter says, I'm going to open a cafe and name it Let's Eat. So she had that little, you know, menu made, which I still have it somewhere at home. And then a few years down the line, I opened up a restaurant in downtown Wilkes-Barre and named it Let's Eat. So I added the flavors of India to it, so people know that it's Indian food, because Let's Eat doesn't sound too Indian. Everybody says, oh, you're hungry? Let's eat, you know. So it's pretty catchy. We did misspell it on purpose because we like to be different. So it's Letts.
Kavita's passion for food is obvious, and her love of food has been there forever. So when her family moved to northeastern Pennsylvania and saw there was a lack of restaurants serving great Indian food, she knew this was her chance.
When we moved to northeast PA from New Jersey, there was no Indian food. I craved my food. End of the day, I need one meal of Indian food, and I'm like, okay, I ate today, you know. I thought, like, if I want to do something in food, because people don't know Indian food around here. They did not know years ago. I used to originally live in Drums, and when I used to go to the PTA meeting and we did potluck parties, I would get Indian food. And most of the moms would be like, how do you make this? What is this? But when they tried it, they liked it. So that got into my mind that if I ever do something, what would be regarding food, to introduce Indian food to people who never tried it. Recipes, they're all from India. I learned cooking from my sister-in-law, my husband's younger sister. She's no more now, she passed away at a young age. But she taught me cooking. When I got married and came into, you know, I'm the only child, spoiled, pampered, rotten. Never lifted a glass of water in my house, but I love to eat. And my sister-in-law said, you should know how to cook, you know, it's fun. And she literally taught me how to cook. And here I am, you know, being a great cook, I think, because my husband says, you cook well. Getting a compliment from your husband must be something, right?
So if she could pick one dish to introduce people to the wonders of Indian food, what would it be?
Shrimp vindaloo with chili garlic naan. That's my favorite because I like spicy. It's a tomato base with potatoes and shrimp, and it has a chili garlic paste. And even the naan bread I like. It has chili, garlic, cilantro on it, which is baked in a pot-belly clay oven, which is on like 800 degrees on charcoal, and we grill it.
Not only does Let's Eat serve terrific food, they also host all kinds of events at the restaurant.
We do events on Fridays mostly. Weekends, normally people want to, you know, wind down, come in, relax. We're a BYOB, so you are free to bring your bottle and chill out. So we added jazz music. We have Anthony who comes in and plays. He's been playing with me for 2 years. For live music night, we have Jamie and his, it's called Tribal Waves is his group. So they come in and play flutes and tabla, guitar, violin. It's a fusion, it's really nice. And I also introduced henna night because like little kids or ladies who don't like to put tattoo, it's like a temporary herbal organic paste which they do design on the hand, and you know, you have a tattoo. So we have little kids, it's kid friendly too. We have a lot of kids, a lot of moms who bring in their little ones, eat and then have henna night. I love people, I'm a people's person, and my husband's very introvert. He likes to be away, but he has supported me, he has invested in this dream that we had, and here I am. You know, I need to talk to people. I love people, I need to really, you know, and I meet so many different kind of people who have different views, who talk about different foods, about different cultures, about places they've traveled. All my customers in 5 years, it's like a family they've become because they're regular, they support my business, and they come in with something new every time. So it's good.
And during the week, if you want to sample a little bit of everything, there's always the lunch buffet.
Lunch buffet is $11.50. You could come in and eat, or you could take it to go. I'm the only restaurant I think who allows a lunch buffet to go. We give you a box, you can fill up as much as you want, and we give you the free bread that comes with it. We have a lot of college students. We have King's College, Wilkes University here. We have Geisinger offices, other offices. They come in, lunch break, run out, and it's good. So, and we don't weigh the box, so you can really fill up as much as you want.
Okay, so right now we're going to take advantage of the lunch buffet because it's still lunchtime, and I like to eat. And as soon as I'm done here, Joe's going to get out from behind that camera and come join me. First time I'm trying Indian food is right now. This is really good. And that plate of several items from the lunch buffet was pretty much all it took. I can say I am now a lover of Indian food.
We're open Monday through Saturday, and it's 11 o'clock till 9 o'clock. Friday, Saturday till 10 o'clock we're open. We do catering, we do private parties, people book my place on a Sunday, so we do the buffet, whatever they pick what they want. We're located in downtown Wilkes-Barre, 78 South Main Street, with the intersection of East Northampton. We offer free parking. You can park in the public parking, and we validate those tickets, so you don't have to pay for parking. We give discounts to senior citizens, for students, for YMCA members, for college students, and for people in uniform who come in, they get discounts. So please come in and try my food if you haven't yet. Let's eat flavors of India. We promise you'll have a great experience.
And that is this episode's Road Stop. Well, thank you for watching Wine, Hops, and Road Stops here on WYLN. Come visit Alan at the beer stop in West Hazelton. And remember, have a good beer, because life's too short to drink bad beer, right?
Cheers.
All right. Salud. See you next time on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops.